Hey everyone, I haven't made a video in a long time, and the reason for that is I've moved from Stillwater, Oklahoma over to Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and I've actually moved into a warehouse in Bartlesville, and then I moved into another warehouse just lately in Washington Park Mall, and so I actually have a retail store also. I'll show you in the video here in a little bit. You'll see some clips of that. But anyway, I wanted to make a video on barbecue. I hadn't done it in a while, and I'm going to make one on how to cook for a large group of people. So it's a little different when you're cooking for a large group of people instead of just your family or a few friends. The timing's a little bit different. Sometimes you spread it out over several days, so that's what I'll do here. I'm cooking 5 briskets, a whole bunch of bologna, a whole bunch of Polish sausage, and some baked beans. And I've decided to surprise our local fire department by giving it all to them. So I'm going to bring food to all 4 fire department houses in Bartlesville, and I'll show you that on this video. So thanks for watching. All right, so the first thing I always do, of course, is get the fire going, because it takes about an hour to get a really hot bed of well-burnt coals going that has that good smoke that we like. I'm just using some paper towels and Wesson cooking oil there to kind of build a big candle in there. I also like to coat the outside of my firebox with cooking spray. This is just cheap pan release that you buy at Walmart. But that'll polymerize on there and add a nice hard shell. And then I like to wipe off the grates, paper towel and some oil, and get everything ready, and then close up the smoker. Give it a good hour to kind of sanitize and just bring it up to heat and get all that metal good and hot. So the first thing I'll prep today for these firefighters is going to be the bologna. I buy these big chubs. You can get them in different sizes by different brands. This is mine. We sell that here in the store, and I like to cut it pole to pole, and then I cut it again lengthwise and make score marks along it. You see me do this in other videos. This is pretty much how everyone does this when they make triangles, and I just cut it from pole to pole and then cut it lengthwise again, and then the score marks we'll put down the edge with just the tip of the knife. That allows for that bologna to kind of open up when it needs to, when it starts to expand and cook, without kind of bending it and turning it into kind of a banana shape. So these score marks do that. They probably allow for a little more smoke to get down in there also, but I do this on all the sides of all the bologna that I do. And we're going to do, I think I've got 3 2-packs of these 4-pound chubs here for the firefighters today, and so we'll get it all prepped up. As I said earlier, I've moved to Bartlesville now, and so it's a different kitchen I'm working in, and it's a different facility I'm working out of. Everything's changed, and so that's why I haven't had a lot of time to put videos together, but now I'm settled and excited to get back on YouTube and make some more cooking videos like this. So there's the bologna all cut down and scored and ready to go on the smoker. Polish sausage is another really good thing you can do for a lot of people. You can buy usually those large family packs of it, and even a cheaper Polish sausage like you get at a big box store tastes really good when you stick it in a smoker and get that hardwood smoke on the outside. Most Polish sausage is smoked, quote unquote, when you get it. That's how they cure it, but it just doesn't taste anything like when you put it in the presence of some good hardwood smoke for about an hour and a half. I score the edges like this, just like the bologna. It wants to expand as it cooks, so it'll turn into a really strange shape on you, and this allows that expansion to happen without tearing the product up. And maybe, like I said before, maybe we get some more smoke adhesion on the inside of those crevices and cracks we make with this scoring process. I don't remember how many pounds of Polish sausage this was, but it was enough for 4 half pans for the cater I did. And there it is, all ready to go on the smoker. I'm going to do this barbecue in 2 different days. This is the first day, so I'm going to do the bologna and sausage the first day because it fills 2/3 of the smoker. And then I'll do the brisket the next day. I find it's better to do it like that than to try and stack everything in there and put some of your product really close to the fire in one of these big offsets, because the temperature is just so much hotter over near the firebox. So we'll just do it like this. Sometimes I cook the long cook first, like the brisket, then just put the bologna and sausage on right afterwards because it doesn't take as long, but we would have run out of time. So I'm doing it in 2 different days. This is day 1. And the Polish sausage cooks pretty fast. I put it kind of on the hot side over there and stack it up and just kind of lattice it back and forth. That way smoke bathes all around the side of the product and gets it good and smoky and cooked. And there we go. That's a full smoker. I have more space to the right of this, but like I said, the temperature differential just gets too high over there. I like to just cook in this first 2/3 of the cook box. Here's a quick picture of my new store in Bartlesville in Washington Park Mall. It was a shoe store, and so I've built it out to look, a little more country and western like I like stuff, and it has all my products in there, and a freezer section where I sell my franks and bologna and buffalo meat. It's working out really well. That's where I'm filming, or that's where I'm actually doing the video, or the audio for this video today. So it's been about an hour and a half, and that Polish sausage is all done. It doesn't take very long. You can see how those score lines opened up and let it, expand without tearing the product up. And those will close right back down whenever it cools. And we'll take this inside and get it ready. The bologna is about halfway done. You can see it's starting to get some color, but it's not done yet. It'll have a lot darker color when it's done. So I take several of these and just kind of cut them on a slight bias like this. And it's a good bite-sized piece. And oh my gosh, these taste so good like this whenever you smoke them. And so we are going to do 4 half pans, like I said earlier, for these firefighters, because there's 4 fire stations. And we'll just get them all taken care of. And there we have it. I cook this for my church once a month during the year, and everyone just goes crazy over it. That with a little bit of barbecue sauce is some good eating. Well, our bologna's done. It's usually about 3.5 hours, maybe 4, depending on your smoker temperature. You see how it has that dark mahogany color and it's starting to sweat really well? That's going to taste like smoked bologna. There's nothing like that. It's another big crowd pleaser. Everyone loves smoked bologna. So we'll take this in and slice it up too. I use an electric knife to do this. It's just really, really fast. You can push right down through it and you don't have to worry about the sharp knife kind of sliding back and forth a bunch. And it makes quick work of this. It's a good way to cut a brisket or a chuck roast or something like that you've smoked a little too much too and it's too soft. Electric knife makes cleaner slices than even the sharpest knife can. I've been talking with the chief of the fire department here in Bartlesville and the fire marshal and got their permission, and so everything should be ready for Monday morning for me to deliver all this and surprise them all. And there is the bologna. All right, time to get into the briskets. I'm going to trim all these briskets on film, but I'm not going to talk about it just all that much. I have other videos that talk about how to trim a brisket. And at the end of the day, I'm not a big believer in it mattering that much. You could put this big packer brisket on the smoker just like it is, and it would do just fine. You'd throw a little more fat away than normal, so it's maybe best to trim that off. And it might have a few places where it's a little burnt or dried out too much, so I do trim them. But it just doesn't matter that much. A lot of people put a lot of talking steak into trimming briskets. I go around the entire outside and take off any large globs of fat that I can on the meat side. Then on this fat side, I take off any large globs of fat on the point. And then I leave a little blanket of fat on the flat. So that's pretty much all I do. I'm going to do that to all these briskets. It's just, like I said, it's not as big a deal as people make it out to be. So don't get too scared if it's time to do your first brisket and you don't know how to trim it. It just doesn't matter that much. You'll end up throwing a little bit away, like I said, if it's big globs of fat that you don't like whenever it's done smoking, you don't want to eat those. But it's, basically just kind of use some common sense and take anything large on the outside away. And eat large pieces of fat. And I try not to cut any big pockets down into it. You don't want to dig all the fat out of there because those pockets make some weird cooking, but I just go around the outside of the brisket and then take some of the fat off the point like that and leave some on the flat. I like to cook these briskets fat side up because my favorite bark in barbecue brisket is the fat. The bark that forms on the fat tastes better to me. That's my favorite thing, and I think it's better than the bark that forms on the meat. So I take care of that fat side by cooking it fat side up. That way it's not sitting on the grates and rubbing around and rubbing the dry rub off and stuff. So there's the briskets all trimmed up and just ready to go. Like I say, please don't think too much and put too much stock in how to exactly trim a brisket. See that big? There's one big chunk there I can take off now. Just not that big a deal. I got a good 1/4 inch of blanket of fat left on that flat where I'll make my slices, so that's good enough for me. So here's my dry rub tub. I like to use a tub because you can conserve the seasoning that falls off and use it on the next one. I'm using Payne County Rust. This is by far my favorite just all around. If you're going to just have one seasoning to dry rub all your products with, Payne County Rust is my firstborn. I used it in competition for many years, and I've sold it for more than 20 years in Oklahoma now. I use it just about everything. So I'm going to put it on all these briskets. I have other dry rubs, and everybody makes great ones. There's so many good dry rubs out there, but this is the one that I stick to. It's just always performs so well in the smoker. It makes a pretty bark. It's not too salty. It's not very spicy at all as far as heat goes, but it's just got a good flavor base in it. It's my favorite. All right, so now time to load these briskets. Like I said, I like to do it fat side up and take care of that bark on the top. And any place I've touched it, I kind of make sure and move that seasoning back over. And I like to take the point side of the brisket, the tall side, and aim it towards the fire. It can take a little more heat. So while that's happening, I'm going to make my baked beans. There's a recipe online I'll show you in just a minute on my website, but this is a quadruple recipe because I'm going to make 4 pans for these firemen. So I had to get my big bowl out and stir it all up. Basically, you stir it up like this and heat it in a crock pot or heat it on the stove or heat it in the oven. It doesn't really matter. Just give it some heat time and simmer time, and these beans come together. They're a real showstopper too. So this is bigrockfoods.com or paynecountyrust.com. I have a recipes section where you can get this and other recipes. There's a lot of ingredients, but it's a really good baked bean recipe. We're probably 5 hours into this brisket cook, which is when I kind of start thinking about doing a spray or a wet mop. So there's these briskets, starting to get that pretty mahogany bark on there. I'm using Payne County Oklahoma style marinade. This is my own marinade. It's a really good wet mop because it actually adds flavor while you do it, and it's notable. You can really taste it at the end of the cook. On these briskets, we're going to be looking for an internal temperature when they're done. And if you go to my website and go to charts and resources, you can open this chart, and it has the endpoint internal temperatures over there for all the cuts that I know how to do. Brisket, tri-tip, chuck roast are all the same. They're on the top there. And you can see it has different columns. So we're going to aim for this 205 in the thickest part of the brisket. That's a 205 degree internal temperature. That chart, I still refer to it because all those numbers are hard to remember. I know most of them by heart, but I always look back at my charts before I cook. As you see, we've got one of our briskets just hit 205 degrees. And so I'll take it out and put that probe thermometer in another brisket, and we'll just keep doing that as these hit 205. I have a hot box that I use. I can slide a whole pan with a brisket foiled up in there and leave it in foil whole. And you can set these guys, I'd set this one to 150 degrees, and you can leave it in there for 12, 15, 20 hours if you want. And it'll be perfectly safe and rested well. And that's what I did. And here is one of those briskets. You can see the flat is over there on the right, and then on the left right there is the point. So I just like to cut it in half, and that'll separate the two adequately enough for me. And then we can look at the inside. You see how that good rest gave you? See that accordion of fat where it's totally rendered? That's what you want to look for. Nice juicy product. This came out just perfect. So I'm going to start making slices of my flat here off the tip. And I'll just carve the tip of this flat down. I usually make, about the size of a pencil, 1/4 inch thick slices. And that bark, you can see with the rust plus the marinade how it makes that just real good sticky bark. Some people use sugar, some people put different sauces and things in there, but I like just a good savory dry rub and then my marinade sprayed on as a wet mop. You can see how moist that flat is. Good smoke ring. And see the fat on top there? That's why I preserved that fat by cooking it fat side up. That fat, when it cooks bark on top of it, is just really, really good. I prefer it, so there's nothing wrong with cooking a brisket meat side up. But that's not what I do. So I'm just basically showing you kind of how I would slice up an entire brisket. You can do this several different ways also. Generally everyone cuts the flat the same way like this. But the point, you can make burn ends or you can shred it, or today I'm going to slice the point. Yes, you can see how that brisket comes apart on the very end there. It's just really, really soft. I could have employed my electric knife here and probably done a little bit neater job, but it doesn't really matter. Now here's the point. You turn it 90 degrees to make slices with it because the grain runs the opposite way in the point. And there's that nice, very moist, rendered point. Everything's nice and soft. If you shoot for that internal temperature of 205 degrees, like is on that chart, and you let it rest adequately. I used a hot box oven to let it rest, but you can, if you're finishing your briskets out in the smoker, you can just leave them in the smoker and shut it down and let them sit in there and cool down with the smoker down to about 150, or you can rest them on the counter for a few hours. Just let them rest for several hours if you can, and that will really, really add to the quality of your product, and you'll get brisket that turns out like this every time. Getting some slices, but it's just too hard to slice on some of these, so I'll chunk them into big burn ends. People like to eat the big chunks of burn ends also. This brisket is for myself and my family. That's why I'm cutting it up. I left the other briskets whole to take to the fire department. Those boys know how to slice up a brisket, and the quality is just better if you cut it up right before you eat it. But that's how I usually cut a brisket up for serving right there. You have different piles of sliced or fatty or chunks or whatever you want. There you have it. Take note of that bark. That's what happens when you use rust plus marinade. It gives you that dark, sticky bark. Salt and pepper works just fine. You don't need a wet mop. You don't need anything like that. That's what I do. So here's the first fire station we're going to be going to. And they weren't even there. They had gone out on a run. And so I just am going to deliver it into their mess hall and let them figure this one out and be surprised, and then I'll deliver it to the other ones.